Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. West Ham United 1, Everton 1, joined by Steve and Andy for this one. Lads, wasn't the greatest game in the world to watch.
Nope, it wasn't great.
Wasn't a classic, no.
No, it was a bit slow and pedestrian on it. It was both teams, not just us. It was both teams looked like they didn't want to lose the game. At one point, really, in the second half, it was kind of like, yeah, you have it, and you have it, you have it. Just kept giving the ball back to each other a bit. So, but I kind of expected it because Moyes was always going to make it a hard game and make them hard to beat, wasn't he? So.
Game of 2 halves, really, wasn't it? I think they were better first half, we were better second half.
And Slotty said that the same, didn't he? After the game, he said, first half, they could have been 2-0, second half, we deserved the points. Yeah,
Coleman was saying this morning, they got a bit of a rollick in their half-time from Angelotti as well, so, yeah, wasn't great first half.
Team he went with, what did we make of that? Obviously, his hands are tied a little bit with players like Sigurdsson still out. And
the only one I would... Coleman, I guess, playing over Sadibi with the only one to query. I understand the rest of it. Kean, should have started with Charlton out. They've got no problem with the rest of the team. Yeah. It's obviously when you're away, you want to go with that defensive presence, so Coleman plays. So yeah, no problem with it whatsoever. Yeah.
I went with Coleman in relation to thinking that Anderson was going to play maybe as well. So they went for maybe a more defensive-minded fullback than Sadibi maybe.
What about, did we make it Delph starting?
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah. It was Delph or Schneider. I really want it, let's be honest. So.
Delph's been signed for, I think Delph's probably got a future there, where Schneider hasn't. I'd rather see Delph get games next to Tom Davis and try and help him through games as well in terms of the leadership he's supposed to bring. So I don't really want to see Schneider or Sigurdsson play Everton again.
Especially in the same team.
No, exactly. So I think, I'm fine with Delph playing. I don't think we haven't got any options. That's the problem. It's rock and a hard place, really. You're going to bring me in.
Yeah, and he's only just come back himself, hasn't he? Yeah. I thought West Ham started the game better than we did, without really doing anything. Just that, what I was impressed with West Ham for the first 20 minutes was they were pressing really well. They were in our face without really creating anything. Yeah. And it was forcing us into mistakes. And I think, for me, in the opening 20-25 minutes, there was too many balls played back from us. We, rather than going forward, we turn and play it back, and I think that helped them get up the pitch. Where, if you start taking a chance and get the ball moving forward, you can kind of pin teams back. And I thought we allowed them to come onto us in the first 25 minutes, definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's something I've noticed the last couple of times we played away from him. We're going back a lot in the first 20-25 minutes. It looks like they don't really seem comfortable on the ball at times. I know Luca Dean got caught out a couple of times in the first 25 minutes, and that was because, I don't know if it was because there was nothing on going forward or the midfielders weren't showing for it enough, I don't know, but they were looking up and they just kept going back or going sideways and then back and sideways. It was just, it looked like they were a bit overawed by it all, really, the first 25 minutes, which is really strange because, no offence to West Ham, it's not like you're playing one of the big boys, is it? It's like, but there was a few times where they probably maybe needed like a Dom or a Kean to make some runs into the channels, maybe to get them out of it and just go long if they have to. But we were just kind of making our own little silly mistakes, really, in stupid positions, which nearly cost us a few times as well.
There's nothing wrong with that ball down the line, is
channels,
that, into the, and especially when you've got mobile strikers like we had with Dom and Kean.
I think the difference between maybe an Ancelotti and other managers we've had recently is, that ball would have been, I think Ancelotti wants to try and retain some control of the ball. I think sometimes with the two quick strikers in terms of Kean and Calvert-Lewin, you want to draw teams onto you, so sometimes those quick passes, I think we took too much time passing it around the back. We're still a couple of seconds too slow in terms of getting it around the back, but you draw teams onto you, then we want to press. That's the nature of the Premier League at the moment. And then you can hit them with that ball. I just don't think we did things quick enough. I think you could slow processing the ball. As I think you said off first, transitioning through the midfield, still too slow.
Yeah, very, very slow.
So I think that what we're seeing is that we are changing the style of the team, and we're still going to have a bit of a hangover from what Marco Silva liked to do. And I think the contrast between the game last year, where we just came out and just actually ran them off the pitch, and this season's where we're trying to control it more away, so we aren't giving away as many points. You're going to see a bit of, you're going to see little growing pains. I think we saw that on Saturday. But yeah, I think the first half wasn't great, but the goal was silly foul by Delph, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Pickford's come in for some stick over the last 6 weeks, whatever. But I thought he'd done all right Saturday. Made a really good save from Seb Haller.
Yep.
Good
feet save.
With his feet. You know, again, Everton, you know, giving the ball away and West Ham broke on us. And I thought he stood up well and made a De Gea type save with his feet, you know, good block. And then, we should have heeded that warning because Haller had a header from the other side, which he got in front of Holgate and it just went wide. And we couldn't seem to just get going at all. I thought, you know, our best hope of getting going seemed to be Bernard. He was, you know, his first touch and coming inside. A couple of times we'd knocked the ball around well and Delph had got Dean in almost in a couple of times with a diagonal. And the only real opportunity we had in the opening half an hour was the one where Dean fired it across and it just missed Dom. And I think Walcott's got to do better. No, it was difficult, but he hits it into the floor and Randolph's out of position. If he hits that cleanly, it's 1-0 because the keeper's too far over. But like you said, and we then go and concede a stupid free kick, which, you know, against teams like West Ham, well, not even teams like West Ham, but a lot of teams, or if not all of them in the Premier League, dangerous giving set plays away around the edge.
As well,
I think if he went in with a bit more finesse, because he nearly got the ball. I think if he didn't go in so physical with his body, you know, he wouldn't have been in it. But he overran himself and went right through the player, which and you can't give them away. And especially with our problems with set pieces over the last 2-3 years, we need to avoid silly mistakes, silly decision making errors like that. And, you know, then the ball comes in and obviously...
Well, Snodgrass hits a good ball, doesn't he? I mean, he always turns into Pele when he plays against us, doesn't he? He's pacey and everything, I don't know where he gets it from, but it's a great ball in. Could we have done better defensively, or is it one of them where you just say...
He just nipped in front of the defender, didn't he? I didn't really... When I watched it back again this morning, couldn't pick out anyone at fault.
He was running with Kean, wasn't he? But he ran it past two players to get the flick on and...
He ran past Delph and Kean.
Just to clarify, I was sure it was Diop because like people online had it like 4 or 5 different players. Ogbonna,
Haller,
Diop.
It was this Diop with a nice little deft header, wasn't it?
A great ball,
great ball, isn't it?
Swing,
something we don't seem to do we, when we get set plays? But that
we always
kind
go
of
out swinging, don't we?
It's weird, but it was a good ball, good header, and it was 1-0. And I mean, I don't know about you two, but I just thought. Yeah, it's been coming because we just hadn't got any foot.
I was worried, to be fair. I feel a bit more confident under Carlo than I did under Marco, but I just felt we were just going through the motions in the game, playing around to the level of opposition I'd seen it all before. But you know, we started getting we started motioning a bit more then.
Well, it was when you go behind, it's about the reaction, isn't it? And, you know, I thought we reacted well. We went behind, we picked ourselves up, we got a corner, and I think the biggest surprise for our goal was that it come from a corner because we're normally we're poor, aren't we, offset plays. Good ball in from Dean, great little flick from Holgate. Very similar to Tom Davis's goal at Southampton where Holgate flicks it on. And a great header. I thought it was a brilliant header by Calvert-Lewin. I don't know whether enough credit's been given to that because it come at him at pace and he had to control it and direct. It was a great header and I was made up to see Dom getting a goal again because I just want him to keep going because I think strikers thrive on that, and I think the more he gets like that, those goals, the more confidence he'll get.
The rest of his game will catch up
and
as well.
Everything else will catch up. And if you've got someone who can put the ball in the net regularly like that, and that was always my criticism of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He was never in the right place. All of his work was outside the box, or he'd be hanging back. Where to get goals in the Premier League. Look at the likes of Danny Ings, one of the top scorers. Most of his goals are inside the 6-yard box. He's reacting to
it. Just shows you, Tom, as well. I think, you know, having a 10 behind just didn't seem to help him.
No.
He never got the passes from the 10. He sort of had to come back and sort of hold the ball. Whereas now, he's got someone to work off. He's scored all his goals since Christmas in the 4-4-2. So it's really
we need
a plus for him.
This formation suits the players we've got.
It does.
Or a lot of the players we've got, not the whole team, but
as I said, I like the fact that Ancelotti's still playing the system, even though maybe haven't got the midfield to play it, because it establishes the other players in it straight away, which is what criticism of Marco was, is that we waited so long to play that 4-3-3 that was supposedly coming along the horizon, never did it, and then it would have took another try. So now you're getting the other players, so when players get added to it, they'll be ready to just slot in. So that's...
And you have to, I suppose, you know, it was Duncan Ferguson who played this system first. That's what we have to give the credit for, and I think that's what's really good about Ancelotti. Obviously, Duncan played the system, and we were 3 games unbeaten in the league with it, and You know, and we've done well in those 3 games. And I think Ancelotti's been really clever there, that he hasn't come in and gone, no, I want to play this new way. Yeah. He's just gone, right, we've been playing that, we've been doing okay, let's keep this going. And we've done it, okay. The FA Cup game, the formation was berserk. We had 3 right-sided players in the FA Cup match, didn't we? When you think of it, Coleman should have been Walcott and the same thing. So take that out of the equation. In the Premier League, we generally played 4-4-2. It's worked, but, you know, it's 1 defeat and 7, isn't it? Or 8, something like that. You know, since Ancelotti come in, we've got 10 points out of 15. You know, Duncan, like I've just said, had 5 out of 9 unbeaten. So the only game we've lost since Anfield at the start of December was Man City away. And really, we might have ended up nicking a point. You know, we've seen Palace do it at the weekend with having 2 shots, I think, in the whole game and getting a 2-2 draw. We had much more than that in that game. We could have nicked the points. So you'd have to give credit there to the coach, to Ferguson and to Ancelotti, because from Anfield, you know, we looked so porous at Anfield, didn't we? We conceded 5. Up until that point, we looked like anyone could score against us. We're keeping it. In general, it's down to the odd goal. Okay, City got 2, but in general, it's the odd goal. So I think they've done that well, and I think the more goals Dominic Calvert-Lewin can get inside the 6-yard box like that on Saturday, the more confidence he'll be. And the other players would be confident in him as well. And because I think that's the key thing when you're a young player, or when you're a player that's battling to get in. And Dom, I've heard his interview after the game, and he was talking about the Evertonians being, you know, a tough crowd.
Yeah.
So you can see the fact that he's mentioned it, because he was talking about Anthony Gordon and how well he's done, but he said, you know, it's a tough, Evertonians are hard to please at times. So you can see that that's weighing on him, and the more goals he gets, I think it'll create that trust in the fans, that element of one who still don't think he's good enough, despite he's got that's his 11th goal of the season.
Well, people like to pick, don't they? There's an element of I'm still right about it. I know people picking on his, you know, his technical ability. I've got a problem. He's scoring goals.
Something I was impressed with on Saturday was I think it was Walcott. He played the ball into the box and he fired at him, and he had a bit of a go at Walcott. And in the past he's been maybe a bit too nice, and I feel like if he gets that into his game where he's a bit more demanding of the players around him, I think that obviously the last couple of weeks looks like it's improved his confidence already in relation to belief.
It's the thing that when you're playing in any team, it's that thing that you belong, and then once you feel like you're established in that team, you can start to then put yours. Some players have it. Some players will come in. You'll have seen it when playing the kids. A lad will come in and straight away he's mouldy, or he's confident, or he'll want it. And other people grow into that role of like, once they're established, I feel like I can say it now. And I think that's with Dom. You're right, I was made up he did that.
I mean,
we went in at half time, it's 1-1, and let's be honest, we were lucky to be 1-1 at the break. They should have been 2 up, or could have been 2 up. But I thought, you know, obviously it's transpired that Carlo Ancelotti bollocked them at half time, and rightly so. And again, then what's good about that is there was a response at half-time. We came out in the second half. I thought we got control of the game. You know, we had a lot more possession. We dictated it a bit more, and we were the team that looked like we were going to score the goal. You know, we had twice. We got Theo Walcott in. And both times, you know, the one he fired across and Moise Kean almost got on the end of it, he still could have took a bit more care with that. He just hit it. But the one to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it was a Delphi.
Delphi made a 40-yard run, then he passed laid it off to him. He was in the inside.
Great ball inside the fullback, and if he just rolls it ahead of Dom, he's got a tap in at the near post for 2-1.
Doesn't shoot enough when he's on site as well, Walcott. There's times where he's in positions you can just have a shot sometimes.
Well, let's come. The Walcott thing goes also relation to the Gordon for Bernard at half time, because I know a lot of people thought, why is Bernard coming off? But Ancelotti's got a very particular, 4-4-2, where the left winger is the man who cuts inside, and your right winger is actually a right winger who goes down, makes direct runs, gets into the box. And we haven't got a player apart from Walker like that. It's been like that for nearly 2 years now. Yeah. And I understand why Bernard come off, because it's tactically that's what he wants to do. I'd rather him stick to his principles than go with something he's uncomfortable with. And if it doesn't work, then he'll lose confidence in that. Thought Walcott's great up until a certain point. I find he gets in the box, gets in dangerous positions, and then when it's one-on-one, or whether it's the cross or the pass, it just never seems to come off for him. And that's what
he's the blueprint of what we need for a right winger.
He is. The pace.
The pace. He's direct.
He's dangerous.
But his final ball and his finishing's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's what's holding him. That's what's holding him back. And he's 30 now, so it's not like he's gonna grow.
Do we need goals in the team?
Were you surprised that Bernard come off? No.
I was surprised, but when I was surprised, I wouldn't have took him off. But when I understood what he was doing. But I wouldn't have took him off because I think he's the only creative player we've got.
And I actually thought he was one of our better players in the first half.
I think Gordon's a more direct.
Last 20 minutes of the first half, I thought Bernard was coming into the game. Doing nice few little touches, him and Dean and Calvert-Lewin, he was playing a few good balls in. When he didn't come out at half time, I was like, he must be injured. And then he didn't come, and then obviously last year, and he's like tactical. I was like...
I mean, that's a big call, though, isn't it, putting Anthony Gordon on, for his Premier League debut at half-time. I can understand... I'm not saying, I'm not criticising it. It was good, and it's good that the lads got on. But what I mean is, it's a big call from the manager because he's not seeing Anthony Gordon.
He's not even a similar type of player either, to be fair. I think the thing when Bernard comes off is I think Everton really lack a bit of guile in the team, so he can cut open an opportunity. Anthony Gordon's a bit more direct, but more of a goal-scoring threat, so it was a bit of a change, but I think he acquitted himself well.
He's good at getting Everton on the ball. Bernard at times, they need to keep the ball.
Flits in between the lines, doesn't he?
He's very good at doing that, and I thought we lost a bit of that with him going
I just wondered if it was the other thing with that as well is because Zabaleta had got in a few times in the first half. And Bernard wasn't really tracking. Normally he does track really well, but he wasn't really tracking him very well. And
the problem with this is just because he's coming inside a lot.
It's trying to make the ground up.
And then obviously that's where the centre midfield problems come in because they should be covering him.
But then if you think about the second half, Zabaleta never got in.
No, he didn't.
Gordon was there and he had someone else.
He had someone play.
And he had someone else to worry about it. Maybe he didn't know. So I suppose in that aspect it was good.
He pinned them back, it's because that's what you do,
But we did. I thought the second half, we really pinned them back. Like I said, we had that one. If Walcott plays that ahead of Dom, he's got to tap in for 2-1. Anthony Gordon had the half chance, which he snatched that, which is only to be expected. And the only real... West Ham had 2 attempts. Pickford made 2 saves. One a deflection from Snodgrass, which might have been creeping wide anyway, he pushed it wide. And the other one was the header, which he made look a little bit more difficult than probably it should have been.
I would have liked to see a bit more control, but at the end of the day, he made the save, You can't criticise him for that, can you?
Just, again, second half, we made the changes with brought Moise Kean. I thought Moise Kean done all right up to a point, and then he looked like he was tiring.
I've got no problem with it. I know you had the issue with him obviously bringing the ass on, which is bad, but Keane's playing those. He'll eventually get to the 90 minutes. I think he's getting that level step up, and I think he did fine. I think Everton haven't got the players to play to him yet because we haven't got missing that bit of guile to put him in behind.
Like that's a
Roby's that fed him in behind, and then because that starts panicking the defence, then he can get him behind. But
there was a couple of ones second half where we put together a good move, and there was one where we were 3-on-2 and Dom dummied it for some reason. He come off the defender brilliantly, and if he takes it, he's facing up at goal, and we've got Kean to the left, and
Kean was a bit surprised, wasn't he?
I think he was ready to be slipping.
Dom just took it and turned, but he just left it, and it was behind was Kean. And
we'd had one in the first half where it was the other way.
We
played the ball behind Dom, Kean, and they broke, and it was like, you can just see that they haven't played together. So it's a case of...
Do you think they can play together in the two, them two? Or do you think they're a bit...
No, I think they can, because I think Dom's better in the air, obviously, and I think his hold-up plays better, and I think Keane's a runner. But it's like Andy said, you've got to have someone to get him in behind. If all of your the problem I have with Everton's midfield
play in front of everyone
is everything is just safe. Tom Davies is the only one who will try to thread the ball through. But what he found himself... They got round him, I think, because of the way he played at Goodison. If you remember when we beat them at Goodison, Tom Davies was breaking and Iwobi were breaking, and they couldn't live with it. And at the weekend, they had people round them. Noble and Rice got straight on him. And because Delph doesn't really break into their half, they were on Tom Davies, so there was no opportunity to get that pass that'll get Moise Kean in.
I just thought first off, I thought they looked a bit like you could tell they hadn't played together before.
But that's
it'll work, because I think
second half
Kean can play like Richarlison, not the same, but he can run in those channels, he can break off the front, and just got to find it, but he's obviously not as...
They got better, both of them, I thought, as the game went on together.
You could just see he was tired. I mean, I wouldn't have took him off for the ass, because I just think with quite
Don't
publicly
need to play with 10
trying to
men,
get
honest, you know,
Umani ass out the door, aren't we? Quite
Yeah.
publicly, we know that. Marcel Brands
I don't have a
said
problem with being on the bench because you're probably not going to risk Ellis Sims at this point, and
No.
you're not going to risk anyone else who's in the youth team. So I suppose he's the only
that. No, it's
part in the
neat.
club.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's neat. Must. We've got injuries, and Lewis Gibson made it onto the bench.
Yeah.
And he's not been on the bench all season. It's a good thing for him.
Sniff, yeah.
It's a little bit of a bit of confidence going away with the team. See him.
Still think he'll end up at
Ancelotti-
Ipswich. I think it's been agreed if he signs a new deal. But
Well, no. Well, listen,
doing
he
good.
needs to go on loan.
Yeah,
he
does,
needs
yeah.
to go
He
and
does, he
play
needs to be
games.
tested, yeah.
Let's see what he's like against big rock centre forwards using their elbows. Can he deal with it? Because he's a good footballer.
Rolls Royce,
He can
yeah.
take the ball down and play with the left, nice left foot on him. But can he cope with the difficult
Pressure,
work?
yeah.
I don't know. But we did. We had a couple of half chances in that second half. Tom Davis had a volley which was blocked.
Yeah, but
just
it
went
was,
over.
He had a little header, didn't he, as well?
And he had the header. Anthony Gordon had the one when he won a great little run and tried to slide it through. So there was positive stuff going on. I mean, on Anthony Gordon, his debut, got his numbers here: 18 touches, 2 shots, 10 attempted passes, 8 successful passes. Not bad, is it? 4 successful attack and third passes, 2 through balls, 4 ball recoveries,
Nice.
showing the work, which is good. 1
Worked very
successful
hard.
dribble, 1 successful tackle, committed 3 fouls,
You're going to
and suffered 1. There was one which was a great foul, technical foul,
Zabaleta
just
took
a
him
clever. But he took Zabaleta took him out, didn't
Yeah,
he?
that's
The
what I
same
mean,
thing,
yeah.
So they had a go with each other. So I mean, Joe's put starting 11 soon. I don't
Bit
know.
early,
You've
but-
got to.
He'll be in around the first team for the rest of the season. Ancelotti will evaluate him based on what the plans are for the summer. And then if we can't find enough time for him next season, they'll go out on a good loan. I think they'll find a good club. Like, we're not going to send us League One. They'll go on to Holland or Germany, somewhere like that, try and get him a good loan. We'll see how he goes. He's got the end of the season to make an impression.
That's the thing, isn't it?
I thought as the game went on, he got a lot better.
Yeah.
He get
I
comfortable with the tempo, yeah.
thought first 10, 15, you could tell it was all a big thing
That
for
was
him.
in
He's a
there,
bit
like,
So much faster, isn't it?
yeah, that's what I mean. He looked a bit rabbit headlights at first, but I thought last 20 minutes of the game, I thought he grew into the game really
think-
well.
I
And his work rate as well.
The thing about him is he's a lad who works hard. Me and Andy were speaking before on our way in and talking about someone like Kieran Dowell, who people were bigging up and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And Dowell's got a lovely left foot, but he's got no work rate. He's got none of that. And Anthony Gordon, his debut was up and down, committed 3 fouls as you've seen there. He's into the game. He'd had a great little dribble. And like you said, that little through ball almost got, I don't know whether it was Dom or...
Dom.
Been
It was
when,
Dom,
was
yeah.
it Dom?
Yeah,
He almost
Dom,
got
yeah.
him in. He's had the shot, he had 2
Yeah.
shots, so brave enough to take it on at this, at 18. And we've seen him score some great goals at 23 level, and he's got the pace as well, and he's got the height. I think it's that to go with it. So 20 minutes here and there, I think, is key now for him. And if I was Carlo Ancelotti, or what I want to see is I'd like to see him on the bench for 95% of the games now till the end of the season, and get him on as often as we can. And then you can see whether, like you've just said, whether he fits in and whether he belongs, or whether it's a case of he needs a loan. Because, listen, some players will come in and will take to it like that. And if the more games he plays, we're talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin feeling like he belongs.
Took 2-3 years,
The more games he plays, and me and Ped spoke about it last week, if he could be almost a Bernard role in the team. So I know he was a sub for Bernard at the weekend, but Bernard normally does 70 minutes, doesn't he? And then he starts getting a bit so if Anthony Gordon's then that substitute who comes on and comes inside with the ball, we spoke, didn't we, as well, about that. It gives him a role in the team where there's not as much pressure on him. He's just a sub, and he can come in and the team can stay doing what it does. Where I think a criticism for someone like Marco Silva was it'd be like a right back for a right back, but nothing had changed.
I think in his debut, he said the young lads, did he? I know Dom, Mason Holgate and Tom Davis were already been played by previous managers. There was no debuts under Marco, was there? Didn't have a single...
No.
Yeah, I know, maybe, you could say maybe they weren't ready, but still, it's nice to see the Carlo is looking to... And I think it gives Marcel Brands more credence to try and shake up that youth set, or try and get us producing more and more players, because we do. No, we might produce Anthony Gordon every 2 years, but that's what we need to do there. It's going to save us money in the long run.
It's about, isn't it?
Like you said, you want to be seeing players like that on the bench now. You don't really want to be seeing players who aren't our future.
No.
Potentially he's going to be our future, maybe. Well, hopefully he is. You'd rather have him on the bench and like maybe a Schneiderlin or someone who might not be there at the end of the season, like a Nias or
the
a Martin
AGM was last week. Marcel Brand's done his presentation, and you're looking at that squad and you're going, well, you know, Nias and Martina were in the corner flag, so they weren't even in the thing.
Next to six, you
know, and then you have a look at people there and you go, well, and me and Andy, this is something we spoke about before as well with the squad, is that if you look at someone like Liverpool maybe, who were absolutely waltzing the league this year, they only have a small squad, really, 17, 18 first teamers, and then it's padded out with a couple of squad players and then a couple of kids are in and out, you know. Quite often you look at Liverpool, if you look at Liverpool's bench, you'll go, see, there's like one front, so, you know, and this is something Man United have done for years as well, and I think if Everton can improve the level of player in the first 14, 15, and then pad it out with people, you know, like Anthony Gordon, you're building up to him then, you know, Lewis Gibson, people like that who are, you know, Lewis Dobbins coming through is another one who they've got high hopes for. There's Ellis Sims maybe, you know, was scoring goals. Yeah. I think we've seen this week in, I don't know whether you lads saw when Everton do the little training videos, you know, Tyler on Urangu, he's 16 and he's in with the first team.
There's
training.
A few of them in there with the first team.
And you've got Dennis Adeniran's in there. I mean, he scored a couple of cracking goals the other night against Fulham.
He's alone, like, yeah.
So, but there's players who are training with the first team every day. It's good that I mean, 16 and you're getting put in with the first team training is a big thing, and
you need that. That's what City did well, I think, a couple of years ago when Pep first came in. They had a league development squad where 4 or 5 of the kids play every week with do 2-3 days with the first team, and it brings the level up. You know, I think that's what we felt. Foden was one of them. Sancho was the other one before he left. So,
and what you do is you get a gauge if they're coping against. I know sometimes the barometer of us isn't always the greatest of our players.
But the physicality and speed of the game,
with training, because it's so quick. It's miles quicker than what they're used to. It's thinking. It's not even. Thought, you might be as fast as a player, or you might be as strong as a player. But what first team and Premier League players have got is that ability to think quicker.
That's what I say about Moise Kean. Sometimes you can see he's half there, half not. He makes one touch. He doesn't take a second touch quick enough, and that'll come. That takes time. I didn't think he did the battle later on. Sadly, to be fair.
So I mean, it was good. It was good to see, you know, to see him, to see Anthony Gordon settling so well. One player who I thought was absolutely magnificent was this fella, and again, this is someone who. I think the three of us, me, you and Ped, on a podcast early on in the season, and when we were doing the shows, were saying we're unsure because we just haven't seen enough of him. We know that he's got great attributes, but he's never ever been given a consistent run to see. I think we all worried, is he too slight to play centre back? We don't know. He's beefed up a little bit. And I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And this is one of them. Is this not one of those situations where, all right, for the greater good of the team, it wasn't so good that we got Kurt Zouma because we might have been better. But what it's done is it's given this lad a chance to firmly establish himself. Because if, let's be honest, had we got Kurt Zouma, he might have gone back on loan or been sold. Mightn't he?
You look at I always, I've been thinking about Holgate because I was one who just the improvements that he needs to make. I didn't expect him to make in such a short space of time. And then you look at the Coleman loan move to Blackpool. He struggled a bit before that, couldn't really get going in the team. Went to Blackpool at that promotion run. Then came back and was starting right back. And then you look at Mason Holgate I know he played right back last season, but the experience clearly has done him a lot of good.
Playing every week.
Yeah, playing every week.
Big crowds.
Consistently. Yeah, he loved his time there.
Playoff semi-finals.
Exactly, playing in big games. Yeah. And the improvement when he's come back, my biggest criticism used to be his positioning and his decision-making in terms of sense and danger. Now, you looked at it tonight, there was a situation on the byline where Mina went out to cover it. But Holgate usually, in the past, he made the move to go over. He would have started doubting himself. But he followed through and put the ball out, and I thought that's a maturity that we hadn't seen from him before. And the fact that he's now confident enough to make these decisions and he'll get the ball. And that's a difference. I think his positioning's much better. And he's such a good passer from the back as well. It was a pass that beats about 6 players right through the middle.
In the first half, he took 6 players out.
And that's something Everton have lacked since John Stones really. He's been in the squad. We need to be ability to play from the back out. You can cut the entire midfield.
He's had 3 assists this season.
He's been fantastic, yeah.
You know, he had the one at Brighton, the little round the eyes and round
you know, if
the
him and Mina can continue a partnership, we might not be looking for a 40-50 million. We might be looking for another Mason Holgate or you know, someone to bring in behind them rather than a Michael Kean. Someone who's got a bit different than the two of them. But then I think Everton will be in a better position if we can get players like him up to 11. I just think fantastic. I
think the thing with Holgate, what separates him from a lot of younger players, and I think the thing why I always thought he had a chance was he's got that belief in himself. He's got that. I don't want to call it arrogance because I don't know whether it is arrogant. I mean, it might be, I don't know, but it's that confidence. I mean, we've seen him shove Firmino into the stand and knock back down. We've seen him in derbies having a go at people.
He's having a go at Fabian Delph as well.
He has a go at Delph. He doesn't care because he knows how to defend. Now, a couple of times this season he's been caught out position and what. I mean, I still don't understand the Dele Alli thing when he turns side on.
No, that's growing pains.
And there's been another. But at the end of the day, kids will make mistakes, won't they? Yeah. And defenders even the best defenders make mistakes. Yeah. That's the way it is. It happens. But I just think he's been absolutely brilliant for us. And I think the more games he plays, the more confidence he is.
He's playing his best position as well. People like after the West Brom who thought that he'd be this right back, and he's always been a centre half. I think right back he was decent. Let's be honest. Same with John Stones though. He's a centre half. Well, John Stones is a centre half's cousin, but you know he's a centre half. And I think that the long more he plays, and again, let's evaluate at the end of the season. If we think the Holgate is the future centre half, then we don't need to go and spend 40-50 million pound on a centre back. You find someone for 20 million who can come in and develop alongside the two of them. I think Everton have been in a better position for it. I think he's been really, really good. Surprised me.
You've been impressed with him, Steve?
Very, very good. The game for me where I was like, realised I couldn't believe how well he's doing was the Man United game away from home. Even though it was in the centre of the park, he was the best player on the pitch that day.
Maturity.
And I think it just proves the more games you play, the more belief you get, and you actually start knowing that the fans are starting to believe in you then. And he's never really had that long run in the team. I know we had about 4 or 5 games under Silva last season when we had a few injuries, but I don't feel like anyone's ever given that belief where he's like, you're going to make it as an Everton player. It's always been a bit like, oh, Holgate might go on loan, or he might play him right back because Coleman's not playing well. But I think this season, and I think I said it a couple of months when you were doing the lives and that, like about everyone was going, oh, who's going to play with Michael Kean? I was like, he should be playing ahead of Michael Kean, in my opinion.
Morgan Freeman in the 23s.
And because he's got that, not arrogance, he's got belief. He's got the snidey side to him where he's not bothered to kick someone up in the air. He's got, he's a leader. He's a leader at the back.
Could be a captain.
And for a young lad, he's the one marshalling that back four at the moment, back five, whatever it is. And I like that he gives a bit back to Delph. I like that he gives a bit back to Pickford, because at the end of the day, he's the main man in that back four at the moment, and not many people probably would have said that.
I think him and Mina are a really good partnership. I think he's got the pace to get around and cover. I think Mina's a monster. Mina, like, let's be honest, when Mina went, the problem we had in the first half was Haller was on Holgate. And Haller is just physically bigger. And Holgate done all right with him. It was just the one header, wasn't it, which he glanced
He's very good in the air, actually.
What he is. But when Mina went and put himself next to Haller in the second half, Haller done nothing. Like he did at Goodison, Mina had him at Goodison. So I think them two are a really good
partnership. That's what you want.
You know, that's what we'll see. But I just thought he was excellent. He was man of the match.
Yeah, he got highlighted on Match of the Day for how big his improvement.
What did we make on the Etihad but?
That was a red card. It was blatant. Honestly,
I can't believe it.
Blatant.
I mean, David Moyes has said, my centre-backs wouldn't have gone down there, and this, that and the other. There was nothing in it. I don't even know what they were checking for.
He stopped.
It was a headbutt.
Headbutted him.
Whether
obviously, he went down intentionally, which I've got no problem with, because he should have went down.
Well, last week, we bemoaned Walcott staying on his feet for not getting a penalty.
Angelotti noticed it, and we know how far the bloody London Stadium is to the pitch. He could even see it
from
where
he was. The long jump pit could see it. The team watching the long jump pit could see it. You know, the competition was going on.
So honestly, it was so obvious.
No, it was really.
It makes me just think we will never get a VAR
decision. But what did they decide? My thing was, I watched it again this morning. Okay, it wasn't a red card. What was it then?
What was it?
There's no like, it's not a red card, or it is. There's got to be something.
Should he not have booked them for intent?
I think he should have booked them. Yeah.
If it's not a red, if they looked them and listen, it's not enough for a red.
It's a yellow,
but it should be a yellow, because I think if you go like that, it's violent conduct.
It is, yeah.
Because what are you trying to do?
I just don't think they like making decisions.
The whole thing's nonsense.
It's a red card.
It's absolutely
blatant, literally blatant.
I was, yeah.
I like that. I did enjoy, by the way, when Holgate went down, Elder said that he was giving the little slide. He had the one eye open slide.
Good.
I enjoy it. No, I do. I like that. I think that's competitiveness. That's gamesmanship. I want to see that.
He could have broke his nose, though.
He could have, yeah.
So. Anyway, he had 74 touches, 1 assist. The goal, 49 successful passes, 22 forward passes. Pass accuracy, 89%.
It's more the forward ones. Pass accuracy can be quite deceiving, but the forward passes...
It's because he's had double digits for the forward, well, 22 for the forward passes.
You want to see the passes, that pass that he took, out. That's the type of pass that'll win you games from centre half. And
seven ball recoveries, 7 clearances. 4 successful tackles, 2 successful dribbles.
That's what I want.
2 shots blocked and 2 aerial duels.
There was the highlights of match of the day. He was surrounded by 2 players, turned out of trouble, ran off the pitch. People pay a lot of money for those type of defenders now.
I honestly think
he's been Rolls Royce. He's been Rolls Royce this season. Yeah, he's been great.
And again, he's the reason why I think people like Kean need more chance. And people like Sunday, because it shows you that when you're young and you're in and out of the team, unless you are Wayne Rooney, someone of that top level,
no one's ready at 16.
Got the ability.
Lukaku,
It's difficult to kind of get any consistency because managers will put you in and take you out. And I think with him, he's shown that if you're given a run, you can develop. Someone like Kean, I've seen a lot of people writing him off. He's 19. He's in a different league and all. Okay, we could do with him being a bit better, but that's not his fault.
That's just patience,
it's a tough thing. It's about being patient. And if he had a run of 10 games, you might see a massive improvement in him. He's only
8th or 9th game.
Saturday was his 4th start.
He's played 500 minutes. Yeah. So people go, he's played so many games. He started, I think, 4.
Yeah. 4. That was the 4th start. Now he's probably going to start against Newcastle because Richarlison's
I hope so.
Still out.
I'd like to see, and we can. And I think Iwobi's out as well. So I think Bernard needs to. I think that's his role in this next game is trying to find those passes through to Kean and the channels to stretch Newcastle because then it'll create opportunities for Calvert-Lewin as well, and hopefully Theo Walcott.
But I just thought Holgate he's been fantastic all season. Him and Yerry Mina really have.
They've been the 2 players of the season so far. It's Richarlison, of course. They've been the standouts.
But just, I mean, at the end of the day, I was disappointed with the results straight off at 10-5 when the game finished because of the way we played second half. I'd have took it at 1-0. I'd have took a draw because we didn't look like we were getting into the game and West Ham were deservedly in front. But second half, for me, there was only one team going to win it. And they were there for the taking, and it was annoying that we didn't make more of our opportunities. But
I'm going to be bored. I'm going to say this every week until the end of the season. You take it one game at a time. You make incremental progress under Carlo Ancelotti, and we see where we are at the end of the season. Now, how many points are we winning away under different managers? We're terrible. We're now consistently winning points away. I'll take that all day. We weren't drawing enough games on the mark. We're now drawing games. We didn't even turn off the first half, really. So let's take the positives.
I was going to say, we were bemoaning, weren't we, at times? At the start of the season when we were getting beat away to Brighton and getting a point. I know Ped mentioned it a couple of times where you just kind of take it sometimes and get out of there.
You move on.
It's away from home. I'm not saying it's the hardest place to go in the world, West Ham, but...
You win 19 home games and we draw all your away games, you're going to get second, first, whatever. So at the end of the day, picking up away points is really important, whether it's wins.
And you're looking at other teams around us, they're not really picking up.
So inconsistent.
Points away from
Saturday there was loads of draws. If we could have, I think that's probably it because everyone else was drawing. You want to move away from any kind of danger.
The good thing is you can see where the things that's obvious to me at the moment. You can see where the team needs improving. It you can see where the right wing spots, the right back spots, centre mid. They're the real obvious positions. Maybe a bit more. Maybe we'll see about a striker. I don't think we need one, but maybe another option striker terms. Maybe Anthony Gordon will be there because he can play up front as well as on the wing. But we've got those. We know we can see it makes it very easy for Marcel Brands to fix it.
Do you think it's just a case of impatience?
I understand. Listen. I'm all about patience, as you know. I'm a big picture person, but I can understand that we've been promised. We have money. We've been promised trophies, and so this season is a bit of a free for Carlo. Let's be honest. And we have. Don't be wrong. We have to push for Europe because with the money difference, it's a big difference.
You can get it still.
We look at. I encourage people. I retweeted it today. Swiss Rambles breakdown of Everton accounts. You can see the 15-20 million that we lose by not being in the Europa League, whether it's TV revenue or match revenue. So we need that. But Carlo can establish, he's got that, it's basically a long pre-season, in the sense he can establish everything. We get the players in hopefully early in the summer, and then we'll kick on next season.
Like I say, at the time, but then, you know, an hour later you start going, well, we would have probably lost that a while ago, and it's a point and we move on, and we'd lost games at Brighton and at Burnley and at places like that where if we'd have took a draw, we'd be, I mean, I just look at Wolves, you know, and Wolves are just a draw specialists, and they're above, you know.
Look at Chelsea have lost 8 games this season.
Don't drop points, you gain a point, you know what I mean?
That's the thing, isn't it? And if Everton can beat Newcastle on Tuesday at home, then it'll be another good point, won't it? You look at it and go, well, you know, 7 points out the last 9 since the City defeat.
Got a break then.
Then it's a 10-day break then, haven't they? So, and then hopefully after that you'll have Richarlison available, Iwobi, Gabaman, who's been training with the first team, will be on the verge of being in the
squad. Up to speed again, hopefully.
And another week more, 10 days for Carlo to get his points across.
Gomez will be on the horizon then as well. I don't know whether he'll make it back this season, but it's just, I think it's probably good for the squad that he's back. I think
there's a few players in that team who need a break as well now.
Some need a break for
just
the long term.
Off camera.
It's a big game, Newcastle.
Yeah.
And Everton needs to expend big energy in
you've
that
got
game.
that 10-day break.
And then you've got the break.
They'll probably have a 4 or 5 day holiday before they're back in training, I'd guess. You know,
Just Joe's put this in, so we'll just we have just kind of touched on it. But Moyes Kean, I mean, there's a lot of negativity. Or hang on, is there a lot?
Well, it's the same.
There's an area of negativity.
The same accounts to the push and the negativity
around them, right? Now, what's your before we come to Andy? What's your take on him?
He's like you just pointed out. He started 4 games. He's a 19-year-old kid. It's a brand new league for him. New country.
Big money move. No offence,
he's just left a massive club in Juventus playing with a lot better players than he probably was. He's come to Everton.
Yeah.
You got to give the lad time. Like I said, messaging Andy yesterday and watching their game yesterday, United, and I watched Fred, who he had a lot of stick last season, rightfully so probably in some games, but it's took him a year and he's starting to prove to people now what actually a good player is. And I think with young players and lads, like young kids like him, who's been through a lot by the sounds of it in his life already, you've got to give him a bit of time. And I think we haven't really helped as a club, and Marco didn't really help at the start of the season, bringing him in one game and then dropping him the next. And he hasn't really had a free run. Hopefully he will now, with obviously Richarlison being out at the moment. So I think everyone's got to be a bit patient. I've kind of just stayed off social media for all that type of stuff, because I just think you're always going to get the odd.
There's nowhere to gain from it. He just needs to go.
He's a young kid. He's 19 years old. Like, you know what I mean? He's like.
You look at Kean, and you look at other players at 90. The problem was in the summer, and since Lukaku left, everyone wants a new Lukaku. And what's happened is Kean's been brought in, and the problem is I think the fans weren't set up in the Kean ways, is that he is a bit raw. He isn't. We did say before that we didn't expect him to score 10 goals this season. He needs to be bred in, but he is a very talented player. You need. It's going to take him time though. He's grew up in Italy. You have a couple more seconds on the ball in Italy. It's a lot slower type of game. You see, that's why Italian players generally don't come over here and do well. You know, he has got the pace and the ability to do well in this league. It's just that he'll need development time. Yeah. You know, and also at Juventus, if you look at all his goals for Juventus, they've got Pjanic and people playing balls in behind for him to run on. So we haven't had that this season. And a lot of the games Everton played and where he's played, we've been Sheffield United games like that. They pack on the defence. It's very hard for him as a new. He's got to get used to playing in those tight areas. And I think people just need to be patient. I think this season is just a development season. We'll see where he is next season. If Everton think that he needs a loan, then they'll send him out. I just don't think they will though. And people are going to play him in the under-23s.
I always come back to stuff as well about players. If you look at his pre-season, he didn't have one.
No, he didn't, you're right.
And that's a big thing for a football. I was listening to Roy Keane the other day talking about it. He was saying that if he didn't have a full pre-season, it took him 3 or 4 months to actually get to his full...
And he would be playing every week.
And he would be playing every week. So, like I said, this lad's just come to the country, didn't have a pre-season, had a change of manager already, had a manager who, like I said, maybe didn't want him. We don't know if he even wanted him, but... I think he's got to be a bit patient. I think he'll come good, personally.
The patience for Moyes Kean is also the patience around the club. We just need to... I understand that we haven't won anything for years, but there needs to be a bit of, like, you can't just rush everything. We tried to rush everything. We blew money on Premier League players who were in that, with Sigurdsson, Kean, and others who weren't that good. We need to be smart about this. And Kean for 22 million down, that was a good signing. People go, well, I can see why Juventus wants to get rid of him. He had a year left on his contract. Mino Raiola wants him to come to Everton where he can play and develop. He didn't want him to go into the top 6, don't sign him. Well, he wouldn't have got game time at the top 6, so that he wouldn't have developed. There's a plan in place for him with his agent, with Everton, and people just need to be patient.
Got to give them time. I mean, Naby Keita, when he went to Liverpool, still hasn't established himself.
He's had a little bit of a run, but yeah.
And there's others. Look at like Gabriel Jesus at City. I know he's a better finisher, but even he hasn't played it. And City just used him as a sub for the first thing.
Martial, he had glimpses in his first season and 2 seasons of doing nothing. Young players take time. He's only 19. And people go, well, Lukaku at 19. Lukaku was in the first team at Anderlecht at 16. He was 6'3" and well built. People are Rooney-esque in a sense. People develop at different ages. You've seen that with Mason Holgate, you've seen that with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Tom Davis got a lot of stick on Saturday. Yes, he did give the ball away too much, but it's a new system for Tom. People need to be patient with these players. I think they're not the problem. Moise Kean isn't the problem. No. There's other players that need looking at first. Let's look at them first before we look at
I agree.
And get someone who can create chances for them, and then we can judge them calmly.
I think with Moise, if I was Moise Kean, if I was the target for him would be to try and get 5 or 6 goals before the end of the season. And I think one will do at the moment. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying if he can get to. I think it's a lot of confidence going into next season.
Well, I think just I think if he can establish himself, get games before the end of the season, have a run, like maybe 3 games on the run, and see if he can get himself a goal and build his confidence up of where he needs to be. And then, he's got Ancelotti there now. He's got the staff, the Italian sort of
someone who believes in him as well.
He's got someone who believes in him, and if he's calm about it, which he seems to be, then it's a case of, right, I'm building, and, next season, I'm going to be forcing my way in, and they're going to all be talking about me, and that's where we've got to be as fans. Oumar Niasse come on and didn't really do anything, did he?
Well,
it's ran into a few.
And the club are trying to get him. Obviously, the club are trying to get him. Listen, he's done, he had this season when he scored a few goals.
He should never have been signed, right? And it's not his fault he was signed at the end of the day. I know he's had a lot of criticism. Koeman bullied them, obviously, at the time, and then he scored those goals, which, let's be honest, most of the time, the Bournemouth ones especially. But, we won't be making signs like that again, let's be honest. We're not going to sign people for newspaper articles saying they got Russian Player of the Year.
No.
I think the club... It was a needs must on Saturday. There was no other players. You can't bring Ellis Sims in. He's just not ready. So Niasse had to be on the bench.
So I mean, you see some, like you said, you see some rubbish online. Just people comparing Niasse and Kean. I was just like, you obviously don't know.
Well, let's be honest. There's a bit of, there's questionable
things
about that.
There's just an agenda for certain players sometimes.
Well, it is because people want to be right about people. I said he didn't have a first touch. I said, but everyone said Dominic Calvert-Lewin was terrible. There's people online who still think he's terrible. He's going to score 10 goals easy this season. Goals doesn't matter. It's your all-round game. Different goalposts. People change the goalposts when they don't like players. It always happens.
There you go. Decent point, though, and we move on from it.
Positives. Let's go game to game.
3 points tomorrow.
We can beat Newcastle then again. If we look back and go into the next little break on a good little run there from, recovering from a defeat. And if you're taking 7 points from 9, you're flying. You'll fly up this league.
Especially how poor and consistent it is. We'll definitely get a couple of wins. You're up right there.
That's what's got to be the target.
I'll be finishing the top 4.
Let's leave it on that ultra positive note by Steve.
Don't say that.
There you go. That's what he is, Joe. Let us know in the comments section below anything we've discussed. What are your thoughts on Moise Kean? What are your thoughts on Mason Holgate, and where you're impressed with Anthony Gordon's first minutes in the Premier League for Everton? Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. If you want more videos, join us over on Patreon. See you later.